South Africa, a country known for its breathtaking landscapes, vibrant cultures, and economic power. But beneath the surface, a darker truth lurks. South Africa is not just a transit point for drugs. It has become a major global drug hub. How did this happen? Who is behind it? And what does this mean for the rest of the world? Meth labs in Limpopo, heroin warehouses in Benoni, and cocaine shipments hidden in Durban's ports. South Africa is no longer just a stop on the global drug highway. It's an international production hub. From Cape Town to Australia, from Mozambique to Europe, South Africa's drug trade fuels organized crime, corruption, and addiction on a massive scale. Stay with us as we uncover the shocking reality of South Africa's deep entanglement in international drug trade. Drugs flood into South Africa through multiple entry points, by land, sea, and air. Durban, Cape Town, and Port Elizabeth are the key seaports where drugs arrive hidden inside legal cargo like food, machinery, and even furniture. OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg is a crucial gateway, with drug mules carrying narcotics hidden in their luggage or worse, inside their own bodies. Meanwhile, smugglers exploit South Africa's easily penetrable land borders with Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, moving drugs across in trucks, hidden in compartments of cars, even on foot. These methods ensure a constant supply of illicit substances, keeping the global network well stocked. But where do these drugs come from? And where do they go next? The global network is vast. Cocaine flows in from Colombia, Peru, and commonly being transported through maritime containers from the port of Santos, located in Brazil, arriving in South Africa either directly by ship or via West Africa. The West and the North of Africa are the continents that are more famous for cocaine corridors. Yet given their much higher enforcement profile, with the French naval carriers patrolling the Gulf of Guinea, they have resorted to a new route. Commonly, drug cartels would use the West African corridor as a key stepping stone before sending shipments down to Southern Africa, exploiting weak enforcement and high levels of corruption. Although, in more recent drug busts, the authorities and South African coastal guards have seen an increase in large-scale containerized shipments in sea-going vessels, such as fishing boats and micro-trafficking schemes from Latin America. When it comes to micro-trafficking schemes, they are by far the most diverse. Generally involving cocaine loads of under 5 kilograms, these can travel by post, by human carriers, on commercial flights, and in unaccompanied airline baggages collected by complicit airport staff. Also, having abundant flight connections means that Ethiopia's Bole Airport in Addis Ababa and South Africa's OR Tambo Airport in Johannesburg are the main transit hubs to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. When it comes to heroin, it follows the infamous southern route, which allows the heroin to originate from Afghanistan, then get smuggled through the borders of Pakistan in hidden compartments in vehicles. The furthest reach of trafficking by land on the southern route appears to be through Pakistan into India and through the Islamic Republic of Iran to its southern coast. The major routes in which heroin trafficking is dominant are through Baluchistan province in Pakistan and the southern eastern province of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Sea and dry ports in Southwest Asia have also seen an increase in general trade. In addition to official ports, traffickers use smaller jetties and dhows to move the heroin to the Gulf region, the Gulf of Oman to be specific, and further to Southeast Africa before reaching South Africa. The heroin is often smuggled using dhows, traditional wooden boats, before being transferred to land routes through Tanzania and Zambia. Once in Mozambique, traffickers easily slip through the borders at Komatipoort to smuggle heroin into South Africa, often concealed within legitimate cargoes on trucks. The N4 highway serves as a primary conduit leading through Nelspruit, where the drug is stored or repackaged before continuing to distribution hubs like Benoni. Benoni, by the way, is in a very strategic location near Johannesburg and major transport routes, making it a focal point for further distribution both domestically and internationally. Methamphetamine, on the other hand, also locally known as stick, was virtually unknown as late as 2003. Now, it is the city's main drug of abuse, even when alcohol is included. Just think about that for a minute. Stick is either produced in Cape Town or the ingredients used to produce it are imported from India and China, with precursor chemicals such as ephedrine often coming from Southeast Asia. While a substantial portion of this crystal meth caters to the domestic market, there is evidence suggesting that South Africa also serves as a transit hub for methamphetamine destined for international markets, including Australia. The profitability of smuggling methamphetamine into Australia is considerable. Australia is recognized as one of the most lucrative markets for methamphetamines coming from South Africa. But no drug empire operates without enforcers. Corruption is the fuel that keeps the machine running. Officials at ports, borders, and law enforcement agencies are often bribed, ensuring shipments move smoothly. Powerful syndicates ranging from Nigerian and Malawian drug cartels to South American traffickers control all the distribution. These organizations operate like businesses, complete with hierarchies, logistic networks, and deadly enforcement arms. Even local taxi and trafficking networks play a role in smuggling drugs across the country. Many truck drivers are paid off or coerced into transporting illicit substances, blending them into legitimate goods. Police officers, custom officials, and even higher-level politicians have been implicated in protecting these operations. It has been alleged that even the commissioner and CEO of the Border Management Agency is involved in aiding these traffickers through the Komatipoort border between Mozambique and South Africa. With so much money involved, it is no surprise that corruption is rampant. And South Africa isn't just importing drugs, it's exporting them too. The country has become a launchpad for global distribution. From OR Tambo International Airport and Cape Town International, drug mules smuggle narcotics to Australia, Europe, and Asia. The routes vary. Direct flights, stopover in the Middle East hubs like Dubai and Doha, or connections through African nations. Durban's massive port sends shipments to the United Kingdom, Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, and even Italy. West African syndicates play a key role in the European trade, using South Africa as a safe processing and storage zone before drugs make their final journey to the West. There's also been evidence suggesting that Mexican drug cartels, including the Sinaloa and the Jalisco organization, have been expanding their operations into South Africa, using it as a methamphetamine production hub for the highly profitable Australian market. The country's strategic location along international shipping routes, combined with its enhanced criminal networks and corruption, makes it an ideal base for large-scale drug manufacturing. Meanwhile, drugs destined for China, India, and Thailand move through secretive networks, often disguised as legitimate pharmaceutical ingredients. The demand in Australia is so high that a single kilogram of methamphetamine can be worth up to 250,000 USD. The profits are astronomical. The consequences? A growing underworld of violence, extortion, and cartel rivalries. But law enforcement is fighting back. Australian border security has cracked down on smuggling routes, increasing cooperation with South African police. Large drug busts have distributed operations, but the syndicates are always one step ahead. They adapt. They use drones, light aircraft, and even fishing boats to bypass the authorities. Some smugglers rely on cybercriminals to manipulate shipping logs and customs data, ensuring their cargo avoids any scrutiny. Despite arrests, the drug trade continues to flourish, deeply embedded in the criminal underworld. However, the true cost of this global drug empire is not just the international smuggling, it's the devastating impact on local communities. In South African townships, heroin is mixed with other substances and sold under names like Wunga and Nyaupe, fueling addiction and gang violence. In places like Benoni, once a quiet town, heroin trafficking has skyrocketed. Young people are drawn into the drug trade, often forced into smuggling or becoming street dealers to survive. The drug trade has also led to an increase in human trafficking, prostitution, and violent crimes. Entire neighborhoods are held hostage by criminal syndicates, making everyday life a battle for survival. If you could ask anybody who's living in any of these communities that I have mentioned that are being used as storage hubs or transit points to larger markets, they would assure you that the drugs flowing through their communities has torn their families and friends apart. But there's hope. Communities are fighting back. Anti-drug organizations, rehabilitation centers, and activists are working to save lives. Communities are speaking out, demanding action and pushing for reform. Some cities are even implementing new policies and strategies, including intelligence-led operations and international task force to curb the drug trade. Law enforcement agencies have also made significant interceptions along the Mozambican route. In November 2017, the Hawks apprehended 2 individuals in Nelspruit for transporting chemicals used in drug manufacturing from Mozambique to Johannesburg. These chemicals are essential in producing substances such as mandrax, crystal meth, cocaine, and heroin. On December 2021, a clandestine drug laboratory was dismantled in Benoni, resulting in the arrest of 4 suspects involved in illegal drug production as well. One of the most notable instances occurred in July 2024 when South African authorities uncovered a multi-million-dollar methamphetamine laboratory on a farm in Groblersdal, Limpopo province. The operation led to the arrest of 4 individuals, including 2 Mexican nationals. In a similar vein, November 2024 saw a dismantling of a clandestine drug laboratory in Rietfontein, Pretoria. The facility was valued at approximately 100 million rand, which was reportedly operated by a 39-year-old Mexican national. The raid resulted in a seizure of significant quantities of methamphetamine and related manufacturing equipment, underscoring the advanced nature of these illicit operations. The production of methamphetamine within South Africa not only fuels local consumption, but also facilitates the export of the drug to international markets. These operations underscore the ongoing efforts to combat the intricate web of heroin and methamphetamine trafficking that spans to multiple countries and exploits various transportation networks. However, the fight is far from over. The challenge is enormous, but the awareness is the first step in breaking the cycle. So, at this point of the video, you're probably asking yourself, what can be done? Should governments increase security at the border? Should law enforcement take a harder stance? Or is the key to stopping the drug trade hidden in economic reform and social change? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives here on the Need to Know channel. Thank you and goodbye.